All right, all right. Welcome to the show. I'm West Coast Wolf. I'm your humble host tonight. We're going to discuss some deep-seated issues in the black community. And yes, I said the black community. I'm not concerning myself today or any other day on this broadcast with other communities. Great for you. Hope you're doing well if you're not from this community. But this is what we're talking about because we have the most need. We have the most, I'll say, deep-seated issues as far as coming to bring ourselves together in this country called America. So I'm discussing those issues tonight because I'm getting way too many questions. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't want to talk about this, but it keeps coming up, and people keep asking me, different people keep asking me questions about the black community and why those people are dating out of their race. They're dating other women. Men are dating other women, and it's not black women. Women are starting to date different men, like white men and other people. I mean, that's fine, but I don't believe we're addressing the right issues here. And I'm gonna attempt to do that tonight. Now, for the record, for those people who like to detail and fact check people, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a relationship coach or nothing like that. But if I was, I could help a lot of people make better decisions in their relationships before they get into a bad relationship with somebody. Because I've been through enough relationships to know what to do and what not to do. And I'm gonna just say that for the record, I'm gonna go over masculinity and femininity. I'm not talking about tonight about the feminist movement. It shouldn't be a feminist movement in the black community as far as I'm concerned. We have black issues. We don't have feminine issues as far as being a feminist and campaign for women's rights issue. We don't have a women's rights issue in the black community. We have a black rights issue in the black community. So let's get that straight today before anybody gets out of pocket and feel like they need to say something about feminist this, feminist that. We're not discussing that because that is irrelevant for what we're going in the community. We have another problems that we need to deal with way before women's rights and men's rights and all that stuff because the black community is being decimated. So I'm not going to discuss feminist movement, but I can tell you a lot of times there's a lot of questions being answered and asked about black people in this country by black people, by non-black people. And it's very easy to solve this problem, but what makes it difficult is the emotional connection we have and the emotional feelings we have toward one another because of what was instilled in us, condition-wise, okay? We've been conditioned to be this way. This is not the normal way of living in this country. And I talked to somebody today, and she made a great point, and I've been meaning to bring this up for a long time. And maybe another later date, I'm going to do it off the air, maybe with some people, a group of mine. We'll get together and talk about that. But the reality is this. Okay, Black America. We're living in an environment in this country that is not conducive for our well-being. We were forced to be here from histories and histories of the slave trade to our ancestors. But this system was built by us. I would say the groundwork as far as the real estate, the cultivation of the land was built by us, but the system was built by white supremacists. They did not make the system that we live under, that we live in, the conditions that we live in, did not make it for our people. Understand that. And once you understand that part, this next part I'm going to lay on you tonight, which should be easier. Because I see a lot of people taking up other issues and other groups and whatnot, and it's not really our issue. Now, the masculine and feminine roles, stay in your lane, but be adaptive. I'm going to tell you why I put that in there. Now, but before we go any further, I want to make sure people understand before people start pulling like definitions out of their butt and whatnot. It's not really, I won't really say, but I'm going to say it that way, be nice tonight. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the dictionary version of what it is to be masculine, what masculine means, okay? So, for the record, masculinity, characteristics or roles considered typical of or appropriate for a boy or a man, okay? Now, I'm going to give you another definition that says having qualities or appearance traditionally, keyword, associated with men, especially strength and aggressiveness. Masculine. I hear a lot of women talking about how they want a masculine man. But if that's really what you want, why we have these problems? Okay. Now, I'm going to also read you the definitionary version of femininity. Okay. To be feminine, it says girlishness, womanliness, or womanhood. A set of attributes, behaviors, and roles generally associated with girls and women. It says femininity is socially constructed. That's what they say. But we in a society, correct? From way as far back as the hunters and gatherers, before anybody in this country was ever here thought about, there was hunters and gatherers. Okay, do your research. The men would go out and hunt. The women would gather the fruits and vegetables, make sure they had the things we needed to go whatever the men brought back. We had clear roles. There was no issue there. Okay, but society we considered civilized. Civilians, quote, civilized people, we come together as a community and people come together, we decide that living that way was maybe not productive in the new society that we live in today. So, though it may be considered a social construct, femininity, masculinity, these are the things, these are the rules we play by. And I'm going to tell you like this, a woman is considered to be soft, not necessarily always soft spoken, but it's considered to be feminine, it's considered to be gentle. You have empathy. Empathy means that you can feel for other people. Somebody's going through a situation, you have empathy for them, means you can kind of feel, connect to them, and see how that feels. You can take some of that energy and feel that emotion that they're feeling. It's empathy. Women are also sensitivity, okay? So you got two clear defined roles, masculine and feminine, okay? Now we're clear on that. We're going to go into the real meat and potatoes of this whole discussion. Okay, there's roles in the family for hundreds of years. Back in the day, before the women's movement, right after slavery, we had full families. We've always had problems because we come out of slavery. So I'm not saying we don't have problems, family. What I am saying is this. There were clear defined roles in the family. The men were masculine, the women were feminine. What we have today is this. We have an overwhelming population of sisters raising children with no men. Now, that's debatable why that happened that way, but I will tell you, if you read the William Lynch papers, you'll have some idea. The women and the men were separated in slavery, and this carries to us to this day. It just got a lot worse. Right now, the male came over from Africa. He was enslaved. He wasn't a slave mentally. He was enslaved, meaning you were a regular, productive community member, but you were brought into slavery. So they enslaved you, but your mind is still free. You're still a warrior, you're still masculine, but you were enslaved. Later down the road, as they broke the men and women up, the men were separated. The men were shown disrespect and abused by the white slave masters. Okay, and they made the women watch this. I'm gonna tell you how we're going somewhere with this. So after so much time, and you should also read the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy. You'll learn a lot about what I'm telling you right now. But the thing is this. When a woman is forced to watch her man be humiliated, demoralized, marginalized, because in the old way, the males would have ability and resources, and they would go out and get the food for the family, protect the family. So a masculine man, a man's job is to protect his family, to provide for his family. That has not changed today, family. But what we have here is we have 3 generations of the man removed from the family. So there's an argument out there, okay? I hear most of my sisters, we ain't got no men, okay? The men is dating other women, okay? But if you look at it, I'm not saying it's right on every level because that's supposed to give you feedback. They upset about a lot of stuff. But I am saying this. The last 3 generations of the male out of the home, women have been raising the children. So if you're telling me right now that we don't have enough men marrying our own women, you're also telling me women train the children is not working for you. Just think about that for a minute. Because the last 3 generations, if men were not in the home, they were being trained solely by the women of the family, then the family, whatever. All that's in energy, you would think. But the white man took away the black man. and it made him look bad in front of the women. So a lot of women, not all of them, but a lot of them feel like they don't really need the man because the supremacist mindset is this: if we get the man out of the household, we show the black woman that we don't need him. He was a masculine person that the male was a masculine member of society at some point. You take away that, some women have adopted the feeling that they don't need us as men. Now, psychologically, they do need us. But in this society, family is very easy. I'm not saying it's not difficult for our women. It's very easy to get caught up in that struggle of saying that, I make good money. This man don't make as much money as I do. Why do I have to listen to him? Well, it's very easy to get caught up in that argument. Very easy to get caught up in the argument. And I do see the women's point that because instinctively, and some women may not even know this, instinctively though, women look to leadership in a man to lead the family, to provide for the family, to protect the family. That's instinctive. Except over 40 years of not having that, a lot of them have forgotten that's needed. A lot of them have forgotten that's needed. So when you talk about a masculine and feminine role in the household, people need to stay in their lane because there's too many women disrespecting their men. You say, I don't need you. You get upset because something didn't go right. You ready to smash on him, okay? Now, I'm not defending the men because some men need to be smashed on. But what I am telling you is this. If you married a man or if you're in domestic partnership with a man that you do not respect, you need to leave that. You need to leave that. Because the male and female energy in a family, you see, family energy is never dissipated. It's just only transferred. Just picture yourself right now with a force field around yourself. Anybody see The Last Dragon, the golden glow? Okay, think about a force field around yourself. A masculine force field around the man, a feminine force field around the woman. Now, in the household, there's two parties. I've seen this played out many times, and I haven't seen not one couple yet prove this different. So if you think you're that person, that couple, I love to see it because I'm going to tell you right now, these laws I'm talking about, I'm seeing it play out in the animal kingdom. It happens in the home. It's still the same game. It is more complex now because we got all this literature. We got all these brochures. We got all this information that we think we know better than what the ancestors knew or what God put us on this earth to do. That role has not changed. But only problem is the white man's got in the middle of this, right? He tried to destroy the black man's concept with the woman. It's worked a lot of the time. He tried to get the black man. He knows he removed the black man. There's no protection for the family. So women stop looking to us for protection. They go to the white man for what they got to offer. Or they just internally go for their own self and they do it themselves. Okay, that's one. Then he humiliated us in society so we can't be respectable in any other place we go. So a lot of times, a lot of black men gave up being masculine. And some went to the street. Now, the street masculine side of things is this. You have a lot of hyper masculine men. A hyper masculine man, let me just put some numbers together just to give you an example. This is my opinion. Don't give me this whole research thing, blah, blah, blah. But let's just say, for the sake of my opinion, let's just say masculine men represent 65% masculinity, okay? And the other half, let's say 35% femininity, because you have to have a balance in what you do. Let's just say the average masculine man, 65 to 70% masculinity. Persona, testosterone, all that has a play, okay? Now, in the street life, to survive the street game, if you in the street game, you grinding, you selling dope, you're a D-boy, you hustling, whatever you got to do, you're dealing with other masculine men out there in the street. In order for you to be successful and come back home every night to survive, you have to be a happily masculine man. Here's the problem when sisters are falling apart. And I'm going to say this for the record. Here's where our sisters are losing. They watching the videos. They watching TV. Everybody wants the strong, protective man. That's very instinctive in a woman. I get it. But the problem is, the reality is this. A hyper masculine man is not productive in a black community. It's not productive in any community. Here's why. If you're a hyper masculine man, you do well in the street. You survive off of that. You follow me? Because you have to. Because any weakness on the street could make you lose your life. But here's why sisters are falling prey to, because the white supremacists knew when they put the system together, They knew if we can remove the strong male black image from the woman's mind and heart, we can beat them. Because what's happening now is they only promote the most negative, hardcore people in society, in the black community, to be idols of the community for everybody to look at. So now we have 3 generations of young ladies who look into that persona, that over masculine man on TV, in the videos, in the street life. They don't respect you if you're a regular dude. A lot of the young kids now, okay? So I'm talking to people who were born after 1965. This is who I'm talking to, okay? So if you're not in that category, you might have got through. That's great. You came from a time that's dying. So let's deal with your grandkids then, okay? So if you put together a masculine man, a hyperly masculine man from the street, just give you an example, from the street, you put him in society with a feminine woman or a masculine woman, the same result going to ensue, because he's going to see you as a woman, he's going to see you as a weaker vessel, okay? And he's going to do what he wants to do. A lot of our young women think they can change a man. No, you cannot change a man. You can change a boy. You can't change no man. And that could be good or bad for you. For example, I always see those who married, been together for long, many years, it's always one thing, there's always a factor. You either got a masculine woman or you got a masculine man. You can't have 2 masculine entities in the family. So remember that fourth field, talk about that fourth field, masculinity, femininity? Energy is just transferred, family. It's just transferred. So if you masculine and she's masculine, you're gonna be in combat every day. Every day combat, because neither one wants to give in. But here's the key. The man was meant to be masculine. You follow me? So if you were dating a hyper masculine man, which is about 90 to 95%, because they do have some emotions in there, however hard it might be to find them. You have 90 to 95% masculine man to 90% masculine female. Over time, somebody gonna die. Emotionally, maybe physically. I see it all the time. But you know that twisted emotion called love, folks stay a lot longer than they should stay. Some of it's because they don't know how to be by themselves again. Some people don't know how to be alone. Some people don't know how to work on themselves. It's too hard to deal with the hard strings being pulled. So they'll stay in it until somebody dies. And most time, family, you put a male line against a female line, see what happens. She might be aggressive and might be twisted or whatever. But that line, that male line gonna kill that female line eventually. I'm just telling you what I know. Seen it happen many times. He'll destroy them physically or emotionally or both. So you go down the road you want to. I see married couples today, even some of my friends. I don't say nothing, but I see them. The little things that they say, that they do. I know who run the relationship. It's easy to tell. And if things out of order, it's out of order. Now, for whatever reason they did that, look at the history of the person, you might know why. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you got a balanced man, okay, you got a regular dude. He ain't crazy, like people in my family. He's not a D4 or D5 dysfunction, okay? You can still talk to this young man. Still talk to this brother. Still talk to him. You have a chance to turn things around. But like my friend Marsh always say, how you start is how you going to finish. And I really believe that too. If you set the pace for your relationship in the beginning and don't go that way, then perhaps it wasn't meant to be. Okay? Because a masculine man, a masculine female, somebody going to die. Eventually, somebody going to die. Emotionally or physically or both. It's going to be some verbal abuse. It's going to be some verbal abuse for a while. There's going to be some physical abuse eventually. Because in a man's mind, I'm a man, family. I'm going to tell you something. Sisters on the phone listening, let me tell you something about men. Some men can't verbalize this. Most men probably can't, but I can. Let me tell you something. There is chemicals inside our brain. When we hear women talk like men to us, and when I say that, challenge you as if another man's challenged you, it raises something up in us. It raises the hair on the back of our neck. Somebody would say, oh, well, you ain't comfortable. You just don't know how to deal. You can say whatever you want to say. You say whatever you want to say. But the reality is really reality. We don't have no problems when we know ourselves. The only people complaining about what's going on right now is our sisters. Say it right, say it wrong. They complain about it because I'm not saying brothers should be going to other races and get other women. I'm not saying that either. But what I am saying is a brother will survive. If you a sister and they looking at us as the worst, lowest of social status in the world, if we consider to be the lowest socially speaking in America, in the world, whatever, if our sisters are at least wanted to every other race, then you stuck with us. Some people say, well, I ain't stuck. I can go get me a woman. That's fine. Do whatever makes you feel better. But in society, if you're not really fully committed of going over, crossing over to the other side and getting you a white man, a Latino man, an Asian man, whatever it is you committed to be, when you get in their family circles and their families, most of them ain't going to accept you. So you might have a relationship with this man right here. He might be cool with you, whatever. But the family ain't gonna, most of them in the family ain't going to accept you because you're a black woman. Just period. And a lot of times, this is a killing point. I see so many women cross over, and it's amazing to me. It just shows you the power of white supremacy. It's amazing. I see women cross over. You meet them, they got a brother in their life, they ghetto, they act mad, they hard, they want to be aggressive, they want to be masculine. They get them a white boy. All of a sudden, overnight, they changed. Like they are somebody different because they know the white man ain't going to put up with that. So people say, I'm not brainwashed, I'm not conditioned to be a certain way, but you watch what people do. You tell what they are if you know what to look for. Now, so that's masculine. Masculine people, a man or a female that's both masculine can't stay in a relationship together. It ain't going to work. It's not. You got to have masculine energy, feminine energy in a relationship. They work together. God put them energies together to work together. A feminine, some powerful women I know are still feminine because they understand how to get what they want. Now, I'm going to say for the record, manipulation, they say, oh, that's bad, that's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. Manipulation is the thing. Here's why. If you manipulate your man to be a better man, for whatever that means for the relationship you have, that's a good thing. If you manipulate your man to get what you want, just because you want it, it's not helping the family, it's not helping him, then that's a bad thing. Women have the power of manipulation. Feminine women do. A masculine woman can't manipulate nothing. What she'll do is she'll try to smash and try to do what these men out here would do in the street. Try to go hard with their mouth and whatever. Some of them put hands on you, then seen it all, then been through it all. Because this is all they know how to do. They haven't developed the feminine skills. So 3 generations we have of women complain about we don't have no men because they got locked up or got killed on the street. Listen, family, if you got a man in the dope game and he hardcore like that and you lost him to the street, then truth be told, I'm going to be honest with you, it might hurt you, but that wasn't going to be a man for you anyway. He would destroy you. To live in that environment, he has to be 110% on point to come home every night. Do you know that? To be a masculine man, to be hyperly masculine, survive the street, you got to be hyperly masculine. It might be great. Oh, it might be great to have him for a while. It's a good wild ride. That's great. But in family life, no. You ain't going to be no regular woman and produce no productive children of society that we're trying to build in this community, BABC. You're not going to have that with a hyperly accurate masculine man. You ain't going to have that. So when you say stay in your lane, we both need to know what our strengths and our weaknesses are. For example, now I'm giving you the goods on everything. I'm not saying you can be a masculine woman if you want to. All I'm going to tell you is this. If you're a masculine female, you don't let no man tell you nothing, you want to be leader of the family, that's great. But here's your dilemma. You need to go find a feminine man. Now, 3 generations down from society, the civil rights movement and whatnot, that might not be hard to find. But finding one you like and one that like you back, that might be a problem. Because I know a lot of young men raised by a single-parent mom, okay? And clearly when they make the decisions, when they talk, things, how they handle their business, how they handle their relationships, how they handle their day-to-day life, it's clear to me these young men are looking for a mama, okay? Do you want to be that mama? That's up to you. But once you take on the role of being the man in the relationship and you have a feminine man, you've embarked on a journey that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. And you produce any kids out of that relationship, chances are great. If they don't have any outside role models, they're going to be confused about their role in life too. It's like now, for example, I'll give you an example, the hunters and gatherers, right? The men will go hunt for the food, women will go gather the fruits, vegetables, and everything, tie it to home, make sure everything's cool, right? Let's just say we reverse that. What if the women was out there hunting? And the men was out there, men was at home gathering the food and vegetables and whatnot, taking care of things. Some women be like, "No, hell no, that ain't right. Hell no, I don't want that." Yes, in one tongue, you say you don't want that, right? But when your man has a plan for the family and you don't follow it, what are you saying? Are you saying that you want to be the hunter now? Yes, what you're saying in a way. Are you saying that when y'all sit down and talk about whatever you're gonna do with the family, you decide you ain't gonna do that no matter what he say? So what you saying? That's a masculine move, family. I'm sorry, nobody can tell you the truth. But it's too many women out here who've been single for years. I ain't talking about just overnight. I'm talking about years. Going on dates, the dates don't work. The men out here, they're terrible. They just don't want what they want. They want white women. I heard everything. And the reality is going to be hard for some people to swallow. The reality is this. The white man is not attacking our women directly. That might be a shock to a lot of people. They might not believe that. But let me tell you something. They're attacking the men directly. Indirectly, they get you. Right now, you ain't under attack directly. Let me just stop y'all with this feminist movement. Because if you're in the feminist movement right now, you believe the white man is against you directly, and he's not. He's attacking your man first. For example, if I was in the killing business and I had to go take over a whole community, the first thing I would do, just being real with you, I get rid of the men. I get rid of the warriors. I would not attack the women first. That's the least of my worries. So women out here talking about, white supremacists against them and all that, man, come on, let's be real. You ain't a threat to them. They never worried about a woman. Never. Tough as you might be. We love you. But white men is not worried about black women. They not. They're worried about black, strong men. That's why people are getting killed. You notice on the TV show, all the time there's been somebody got killed. He had a family, trying to hustle for his family. Eric Garner, 6 kids, gone. Tamir Rice was a kid. Get him out before he get to be old to be somebody. Oscar Grant had a little 4-year-old daughter, got shot in the back on the barn. Okay? Trayvon Martin, young 17-year-old, a young warrior, beat Zimmerman's ass and got killed for it, and he got away. Didn't even get arrested that night. You see it? Do you hear about gangbanger Peanut taking one from the police? No, because Peanut shoot back. That's why they shoot Peanut. He roll up on Peanut. You better be ready to go, because he gonna get it in. You follow me? So it just killed me. I'm just so tired of watching it say. And I'm gonna give people a chance to talk about this because, really, we're misguiding in this area. Our goal for the BABC, we want to put together a compound where we have sound-minded, intelligent black people on it. There ain't gonna be no room for nobody who don't know their role in society. There ain't gonna be no room for you, because if you in a society where people are traditional and you're not, you can't come in there. Like, for example, in the Indian family, let me tell you something. The Indians, the men sit down and have a discussion, just men. Women sit down and have a discussion, just women. When they make a decision, they come to the table. The spokesperson for the women, the men come together and make a decision. The chief, that's how it worked. That's how they roll. And it worked until the white man come along and destroy everything. It worked. So you can't have nobody coming here and roll the system trying to be the boss. Like, we had some town hall meetings, some people come in there acting halfway crazy, trying to take over what we need to talk about, what we need to be focused on. You don't know what you're talking about. Sit down. Because ain't no society since we've been on this earth has worked without protection of men and leadership of the men. Nothing's going to happen in the future. You're going to get old and you're going to die. It'll be the same problem if you think that you're going to be able to have a society run by sisters, and it ain't going to happen. It's never going to happen. But our sisters need to also, if you have leadership in your family, respect it. Because I'm going to tell you something. A man will work twice as hard for you, feel like you respect him, you love him. He will get better. Ain't no perfect man out there, family. Ain't no perfect man out there. But my problem with sisters a lot of times is this. You make a bad choice in a man, right? But then you expect him to do what men do. He's not a man. He's not a masculine man. If he's dealing with masculine men in your life and you get a feminine one, you expect him to be something he's not. Brother, the same thing. You can't get no stripper and make her a wife, and then you complain about her not being able to cook meals. Okay? It's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous that we see this stuff. You get you a stripper wife. Yeah, she's fine for now. Got tattoos all over her body. She can do all these things in the bedroom. She can't make grits. She can't make a good thing of Kool-Aid. She can't even warm water. But you know what? She fine though, right? See how you look at 60 years old with that mindset. So hyper feminine women don't work either. Talk about hyper feminine women. Hyper feminine women is not balanced. She act like she can't pick up some off the floor. She can't get her nails dirty. She can't do this. No, that don't work either. Because you get a woman like that, you lose your job. You lost your woman. You know that? I know a guy right now. I ain't seen him in a while, but his woman was like that. Worked good. He had a job and making good money. Lost that job, lay off. She moved back home with her mama. The stuff we doing. It's like we don't need no help killing ourselves, family. White man's put a system in place that's not conductive for our survival in this community, in this on this earth in America, without us doing something for ourselves. We got to create our own system within the system that is against us, and you're not going to do that by not knowing your role in the family. Okay, it's not going to happen. Masculine men with feminine women, that works. Masculine men with masculine women, that don't work in a family that's going to be based on love, respect, and trust. That's not going to happen. I ain't seen it happen yet. Every relationship I see work 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you got a man who knows his role, a woman who knows her role. Now, right now, it's not great for us right now. The numbers against us right now. A lot of us lost jobs. We ain't making that much money. Women making more money than we doing. I get that. But that don't make a man not a man. I'll tell you something. You get a man that's a janitor, and you might make $100,000 a year. You might take care of all the bills. He didn't want to be in the situation he's in. You can help him get better. You still got a man at home. Let something happen to you. Man come off his job to take care of his woman, okay? A man will get really unruly behind anybody. I'm telling you, I've seen things. I've seen little men raise up on big dudes. Other men know. It's a simple, unspoken code. Another man know. A man who loves his wife, I don't care if he's 4'2", he gonna get on you with all 4'2" of him. You know, that's a ride you don't want. You might be and come back tomorrow, he gonna get you because he love that woman right there. Let somebody touch somebody's woman that they love them. They be all over you on all 4 feet. But if a woman don't respect her man, you think you can get better, you think you can upgrade, hey, that's fine. Go ahead and try. Try that before you have kids with somebody, okay? Because when you have kids with somebody, now you're putting somebody else's life in the circles of things. The kid's life is in the balance now. What are they gonna think coming up? Raised by all women, no masculine energy, no balanced masculine energy around them. What's gonna happen? So we gotta play our role, family, because you get more work out of a man by showing him love and respect than you will by trying to smash on him and get him to do it that way. That never works. You would be left with a man. If you can beat him, if you got more masculine power than he got, you'll beat him or he will leave or he will do both. But you will not win. That's not winning. Winning is accomplishing a goal for the family. That's the win. Okay? So I'm opening lines up. Anybody want to discuss this right now? You can disagree with me or agree with me. It don't matter. It is what it is, family. I'm just saying be adaptive. If you're a masculine woman, know your role. Get a feminine man. If you're a masculine man, get a feminine woman. Don't try to marry both of those together. It ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. You can't have a society where men and women don't know their role. That's what they put us in. We must not stay there. We must not stay there. Because every time, I'm telling you right now, myself, I could be at the Walmart or something, right? And something that happened, somebody will snap on me or somebody snap on somebody else, something in me just instinctively just goes somewhere else. I'm going to tell you something. I ain't never hit a woman before in my life. But I've been in the street sometimes, and somebody tests you, and they acting like a man, they talking like a man. You have to think about it. Just walk away because you be wanting to choke the hell out of them. I never, ever even wanted to choke a feminine woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's some deep stuff I'm telling you right now. I've never instinctively wanted to choke a feminine woman. She could be mad at me, whatever it is. A feminine woman with a regular masculine man, it just works. You see her as not a man. When a man, we hear masculine things out your mouth, we automatically lose it. Women probably the same thing. Women probably see a feminine man, they just freaking lose it. Because we must maintain the society the way it was built hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, before we even built America here. So I'm opening the line up. I see somebody want to talk. Keep on subject, bro. We keep it on subject. We're talking about masculine and feminine. We ain't talking about everything else. Keep it together. Welcome to the call. 2697. Welcome.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
So, I think what you just done with this subject right here, you have made what they call it, I don't want to be cussing, but where the brown stuff hits the fan, that's what this is. So this is either going to bring this is going to bring us together, or it's going to take us apart, because that's what we are. That's what we are as a group of people right now. And I was just glad that you went to the dictionary. You went to the dictionary to describe what is masculine and what is feminine. Because we're so confused. I mean, and the thing is, here's the real truth: the Willie Lynch, it lives on. It lives on. Yeah, it's hard to say, but it's the light against the dark, men against the women, and that's what it is right now. And I mean, people don't understand. These men are going to jail. They're wondering where all this with this pants sagging and all this stuff. Why is it like that? Because it's definitely, when you go to jail, a couple things happen. You are what is it called? Where you are
you are subjected to be masculine or subjected to be feminine. You're gonna
oh
be
yeah, and the thing is, no, they gonna make a girl out of you, because the first thing you do when you go to jail, the first thing you do when you go to jail, you get booty butt naked, hold your nuts, squat and cough, and let the white man look up your behind. That's the first thing you do. If that ain't the meaning, that's the very first thing you do. The next thing they do is they take your belt. There we go, pants sagging. The next thing they do is have you showering with a bunch of men and sleeping together with a bunch of men. I mean, if that's not that is Willie Lynch living right there in front of you. That's what that is. He's trying to make a female out of men, and then meantime, back on the street, you got the women that are left with no man. No man.
That's right.
No, if they not let them, if they don't make the prison, they kill them on the street.
So what you got? See, that you got hyperly active men who had to survive the street, then they didn't have having babies with women who were just feminine women, and they destroyed the whole family structure.
Yes.
Because you can't be a hyper masculine man in a balanced relationship. It don't happen. All you know how to do is destroy, take over. You ain't gonna be balanced with your decision making, because you had to survive the street. You cannot coexist with a woman who is a feminine woman. It won't happen. You will destroy her. And I got family members who are doing this right now, and you cannot tell them anything, because this is who they are from the street. All they know how to do is take and destroy. They have to do it to survive. I understand it, but you shouldn't have a woman.
Exactly. So I said all that to say this is just going to be a slow process of us being patient with each other. I'm speaking of men and women, and we're going to have to train each other step by step, because our friend E, he posted something about being on Facebook. I see a lot of bad, but I see so much good that can happen here, because we get a chance to train and teach and post things that people weren't even aware of, and teach each other, teach women how to be women again, and teach men how to be men. And when I say that, I'm not saying the woman supposed to have her shoes off and barefoot, having babies in the kitchen. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
But I'm saying there's a medium. There's a medium, and we have to find it. We have to find the medium. And we have to work on it, And you got these men who I can't be so mad at them. They are being, their masculinity is being taken away from them piece by piece by piece.
Exactly.
Just like that post by Certified. He put that post up about those dummies in the store with their pants sagging.
That's embarrassing.
Man, that's some. I don't care what nobody's saying. I'm stepping up for mine. That's some homosexual stuff. There ain't nothing manly. There ain't nothing masculine about your pants and your behind sticking out.
Ain't that feminine? That is not feminine. That's feminine.
And here's the thing: how is a woman How is let me not a woman, because there are some women that like it. How is a real woman, an adult woman, gonna find any appreciation and your booty sticking out? Ain't nothing cool about that.
You know, I
nothing
think
cool about that.
I went to court today to see my brother, and I just brought that up. A brother was coming. He came in late. This lady was sitting down, right? This man had his pants off his ass, right? So you go squeeze through a tight seat. He squeezed through the seat with his ass in the lady's face, and literally when I say ass in his face, I mean his pants was down. He had boxers in his woman's face, and I was so embarrassed. You know, I was so embarrassed. I said, this is a problem for us. It's disrespectful, man. Disrespectful.
Okay. So every chance I have, because you know the youngsters, they are so touchy about the situation. But every chance I have, I make sure I make a comment about it. When I see somebody with some pants, even if I don't say it directly to them, I try to have somebody with me so I can make a comment about it. So I can just make them to wake them up, not to hurt their feelings, but to just let them know that that's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
I agree. I got one more call, my brother. Somebody else coming in. Let me see. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. All right. Based on what you said, yeah, I'm not saying tonight, family. I'm just being honest with you guys tonight, because my brothers who are listening, I'm gonna just say, the man in the man's defense, okay, and not all about women, all about men. In the man's defense, you have to realize we're being shitted on in so many words, and for lack of a better term, shitted on in this world, in this country, everywhere we go. A lot of men are doing because they feel like, you know what, this situation they have with her is not my fault. I'm going to meet somebody, I'm going to be with somebody who's going to treat me like a man, like a king, who I am. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's what's going to happen. Because until you walk in a man's shoes and know that everywhere he goes, he gets disrespected, they try to make him a female. And for a masculine man to be effeminized, it's going to be it's going to fight all day long to keep your masculine energy, your testosterone, your manhood. It's hard. A man don't want to come home and fight with his woman about nothing stupid. He don't. So some men have decided to go elsewhere to get women. And I understand that. I don't agree getting to go and get you a woman outside your race because it's not going to help our community. But I understand. Now, having said that, our sisters, we have to get better at picking better men for us. I'm not saying the pickings is great for you, because some of them is in prison. Some learn how to be hardcore to survive it, come out, have a family. They may be handsome, may be good looking, a few great traits. But if he's not balanced, he's going to destroy you and your family. Sorry. This is the truth. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit longer, or you have to be actively seeking things outside of what you're normally used to. I'm sorry, it sounds terrible, but it's a reality. It's better to figure out what you want and what you can deal with and what you compromise with than to bring children into this world and have them be defenseless, having a father that's not going to be there for them or it's going to destroy them. I'm sorry, that's the truth. I've seen it happen too many times. I'm so tired of it. Even people in my family, I'm just sick of it. Make better decisions first. Because here's the thing, I'm going to get biblical on y'all for a minute. And everybody don't believe the same thing. But if you consider yourself a Christian, the Bible says this: a woman chooses her headship. Think about that for a minute. If you're a Christian, most of our black people is Christians or Muslims, them too, most of them. But in the Muslim world, the man's head of the household too. It's even more extreme about Christianity. But the point I'm trying to make is this: if you don't like the way a man does things, if you don't like how he moves, how he leads the family, or you feel like he don't have what it takes, don't keep him out of being desperate. You need to move on. Because if a woman's starting out fresh, no kids, or you're starting out with kids a little older, and you want to get a good life before you get old and die, you can't start off compromising a man. Now, he may not look the way you thought he was going to look, like Denzel, or he may not have $100,000 a year income. But if you got a man, that's a good start. A man can always make more money. You can't always make more man. You follow me? So I'm going to just say that to you. So I'm not trying to smash on sisters about that, but I'm just saying make better choices in the beginning. And what you get, you work with what you get. After you said I do. All right, I got another call here. 7244. Welcome to the call.
Hey, what's going on? What's going
yes,
on?
Sir.
Peace and power. How y'all doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, brother. I like to consider myself as an African man.
Okay.
Um, and a lot of brothers, um, you know, a lot of times we want to look at ourselves at anything else or all types of other men outside of who we are genetically made to be. And when we look at the man we are today, that means all of us on the phone, we are that man in that image because of the man that came before you, our fathers, our grandfathers, our ancestors. And a lot of times with men here, because what I've seen in, going to men and women both, looking at how we as men, we can pattern ourselves up to want to be like the Asian man, to want to be like the European man. Whatever they say is good, then that's what we are an African man. And I'm seeing that is a big part of our problem, is because we are latching on to various other identities, but they don't lie in our organic nature. You understand? So now we are grasping as men, men saying they want to be women. Now our women are saying that they want to be men. Why? Because we had that detachment, and this system has definitely made it that way. Even where they have a prison system that can throw a man in jail for crack for 20 and 30 years, and then let this pedophile off for 5 years. That's kind of showing you how we get lost. How our sons and daughters don't have the male figure in the house, and then sometimes it's complicated. Knowing how we've been educated, our education system doesn't even tell us about the truth of who we are as a people, let alone then who we are as an individual man. And a lot of times with our parents, with them being in the church, we just believe in, and I had a lot of our people there, we believe in the one man, and that normally is a white man, white Jesus. So we look at ourselves, or we look at the divine, the higher part of ourselves as, as the white man. And this is just a reality. Anytime we have this type of conditioning in place, where rather than me looking at myself or looking at the supreme from how I look, I'm going to look at that from the way that my oppressor, you understand, has painted that image. That can be and has become very damaging. We're talking about who and where we are here in 2017, and I know we have a lot of, because that's why you're having this show, because rather than a lot of our brothers standing up to reclaim their manhood, saying that, hey, I'm a man, I'm here, we out there womanizing, we pimping, we being players, we want to, shoot each other. And I'm not saying that everybody's doing this, but these are problems that are plaguing us. Or we want to just relinquish our manhood altogether and just say, hey, I'm not a man no more. My name is Jenny, or I'm not Gary, I'm going to be Jennifer. You feel what I'm saying? And anytime you have this type of dynamic in an animal, in nature, or anything, you can see that there is a problem there. And the reason why we have this problem is because we have been systematically torn away from our cultural identity, from our tradition. So now an African black man, he doesn't know how to see himself because we've been torn away from that. You understand?
And his father wasn't around to show him.
Right. So we're trying to pick up the pieces now, and we may be mocking the European. Well, not maybe. We are mocking the European. So we're not just a terrible father, but the image that we are programming ourselves into being, it still looks like a European, because that's all we have. That's all we have to really go off of, even in our TV shows, the music. The music even teaches our young boys to think as European. Well, F that B, or F that ho. All these derogatory names that we are spewing out to our women. To pick up one of these CDs, you would almost have to think just like a European. To say, to allow yourself to listen to this dude that's going to call this woman a B about 50 times in his song, that's taking you not to a place of your organic manhood, it's taking you to a enemy of your manhood. You understand? We're taking ourselves to a place where we become the Ku Klux Klan to our own selves. So we must question our man. We must question, am I a man? Am I doing the things that resemble and look like my type of man, integral man, that I was put here in, having a lot to do with my genes, having a lot to do with my ancestors. The reason why I look like this black man with this kinky hair, and really in a lot of the same situations where the white people are treating us in unjust situations just as they did our ancestors, because we look just like them. We got that dark skin, and it's the same thing. This is why we are still going through the situations, is because our genes. So it is time for us to stand up and pay homage to those men that came before us, start remembering those stories of those great soldiers, even when we remember, because I was on the show last night, and I talked about how Harriet Tubman encouraged, a man to be a damn man. That's just the reality. She encouraged a man to be a man because she was exemplified as showing probably more manhood than some of those weak men were showing at that time. I think they said she had to kill her own husband because he was going to tell. You understand? And when we have your husband that is going to tell on his wife or go tell, of course we see who the coward is and who pretty much resembles the man, who resembles being sturdy. So like I said, man, I give props to this show for, making it clear, making it plain as we sit and conversate and try to figure out and pick up the pieces of what true manhood, and I'm going to say African manhood, looks like, brother.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. I got one more call. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate all of that. And he's absolutely right. That's why I'm having this discussion, because, if you look deep enough, if you go back far enough, you will see the problems we have here was socially constructed by the white supremacist system that we live under. And we just gotta not buy into it. Let me tell you from experience, family. I consider myself a masculine man. But had I went to the street life, I'd be hyper masculine because I'd have to survive that environment. Or I went to the prison system, I had to be hyper masculine to survive that environment. But coming out back in society, you're supposed to be rehabilitated to learn to live in society. That don't always happen because they want to make money on you, putting you back in prison. They also want you procreating and have no more children out here. So when you get them 20, 30 years in prison, you pass the threat levels. You follow me? The threat ages. So I'm telling you this: if I have a woman that don't respect me, if I have a woman that don't appreciate me, that don't love me, how hard would it be for me to go out here and risk my life to save her by anything happen to her in life, no matter what it is? If I feel my woman is not on my side, it will be very difficult for me to go out and do whatever it takes to do to get my woman back to safety. Like, for example, Taken. Remember them? I'm sure I've seen Taken by now with Liam Neeson. They took his daughter way across the damn world. He said, listen, that's my daughter, and I love her. If you let her go, I'll let bygones be bygones. He said, but if you take my daughter, I will find you and I will kill you. That's how a man feels about his children. Same with a wife. If your wife is loving, respectful, she cares about you, nurture you, there's no man in the world would get in your way or would stay in your way. You go through him. But if you got a woman at home that don't respect you, don't appreciate you, it's going to be real hard to be motivated about doing anything. There's so many brothers in the life family that work some ridiculous jobs to come home to snapping, arguing, doing dumb stuff. And vice versa. Women coming home now making more money. Some women come home and the man is just giving them so much drama off of nothing. They got these young kids in our family. We're 3 generations removed. The new kids, the new millennials, it's sad to see. I've seen grown men, 30s, don't take the trash out. Leave it there overplaying. Leave a plate on the living room floor. Just trash the living room. Just do stuff. Won't cut the grass. Won't fix the car. Won't do a little bit of nothing. Video games all day. I'm sorry, family. That's feminine. That's feminine to sit there and spend all your time and all your women work hard and you do nothing. That's That is not masculine. But yet society's been we got a lot of children now being raised by their mom who working so hard she don't have the energy. She's tired. She want to come home and to get on the boys about doing whatever, and the girls about doing whatever. I've been in households where all the kids are laying out watching TV, trash overflowing, trash on the side overflowing. I'm like, dude, I could not allow this. So we have to get back in our lane, family, and we're gonna have a productive society. That's what it's about tonight. I got another call here, 8730. Sydney, welcome to the call, my brother. Hello? Oh, let that fire truck pass by. What is going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. You live. Go ahead.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
How's it going? Good.
Absolutely great.
Beautiful show. Good.
Appreciate it.
The brother that was just before me, I just want to compliment you. He was hitting everything right on the head. Right on the head. Now, second thing I want to say is through this call, I hope that some women get on the call, get in the queue.
That's the women here.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of what you said is true, but a lot of it has to do with environment that's created.
Absolutely.
A lot of it has to do with relationships. And I just say to say this: my parents split up when I was about 16, but my father was in the house. Basically, everything that I know how to do, my father taught me.
Okay.
But because of the very thing that you said about disciplining the kids, one thing that all my mother had to say is, you do not want me to call your father. And I'm straight after that, okay? Because I know when he come in here, there's going to be some furniture moving, okay? Because he raised us in that way to respect our mom. Now, a lot of, and when you said kids born after 65, that has a lot to do with it. But basically, if we're going to be upfront about it, our generation, meaning my age, I'll be 65, our offspring is where we dropped the ball. Because in your conversation, you have mentioned several times our ancestors. Well, what is this generation's ancestors going to be like? What are they going to be talking about? And as you mentioned, a lot of it in our music. If you listen to our music, you can tell where we are today. Now, the reason why the conversation has relevance is because it is time for us to take our role. But it's our time to take our role as a leadership and not leave our family and women vulnerable to society. We already know that we're kings. There's not a brother in here that does not know that he's a king. And yes, we do know the white man is after us. If you don't know by now, what world are you living in that you don't know that we're being attacked? The issue is, and the reason why you're putting all of this together and why it's so powerful is because now you have created a platform where we can have these conversations that a lot of times we don't have. And that's why I really want to encourage women to come in and speak about it, because there's always two sides of the coin. And so our view is a masculine view. We need to see a feminine view. And so always understand this: men are from Mars and women from Venus. Our whole chemistry makeup is completely different. So we have to know our role. So when we have issues, we really have to look at ourselves, because if you mentioned Wild Kingdom, right? If you, and I always tell people this: if you go to Africa and see how many gay male lions you see, see how many gay water buffaloes you see trying to have sex. This only happens with humans, okay? A lot of it has to do because the natural world order in the animal world is consistent. In the human world, it's not consistent based on some of the things that you mentioned. But again, I wanted to encourage you. I think it was a tough conversation to have.
It really
sometimes some people don't. Yeah, some people don't handle it too well. But again, I'd like for the sisters to get on the call. As I say before, it's always two sides of a coin, and keep doing what you're doing. That's all I got.
I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And to his point, I totally agree. It's two sides of every coin. I'm giving you the masculine side, but I'm also telling you this, family. Listen, it's two things I'm really telling you. Okay, one is if you want society to be productive as it was thousands of years ago, even before America was built, thought about anything, go back to the beginning. Go back to the core. That has not changed. All we've done was put ridiculous, weak ass layers on top of stuff. That's all we've done. We've layered and layered till we can't layer anymore. Women are still attracted to men who are strong, leadership ability, protective style, and security. They're still attracted to that. That hasn't changed. What's changed is we got corporate America, we got trades jobs, we got hustlers, we got everything else in play, right? Men are still attracted to feminine women, strong as they be. They're articulate. They know how to speak to you to make you want to do for them. That hasn't changed. So I'm saying to unite is this. I'm just saying to you unite that part, and I'm also saying to you is this. You have to know what kind of woman you are, or what kind of man you are. Had somebody tell me today, I'm not a masculine woman. I'm just aggressive. Well, I just read the definition of masculinity. It said what? Aggressive, right? Women shouldn't be aggressive with men on a regular basis. Women should be aggressive with men when it comes to protecting their child, protecting their life, things like that, or protecting his life if he's unconscious or not doing the right move to maybe hurt his own self. That's not a normal attribute of a woman working in every day-to-day life. It's not. If you got to be aggressive that much, you're probably in the wrong relationship. I'm just being real with you. So I'm not trying to tell you how to be as a man or a woman. I'm just telling you what masculine is and what feminine is. That's my goal tonight. Also, I'm telling you is this. If you find yourself in a marriage or relationship with a man being a woman and your man is feminine, well, you don't like that, and you're masculine, well, you don't like that, you got to work on it. It's nothing isn't set in stone. It takes time. It's hard to do, family, but you can do it. But for women, I'm going to just tell you from experience, and I have not one person or one couple ever to show different in the 40 years I've been on this earth, over 40-some years, I've never seen that dynamic work. Just never worked. It's been destruction laid when you got a masculine man and a masculine woman. You got a feminine man and a masculine woman, destruction laid. She lead him like a little boy around town, but in the end result, she'll end up leaving him, or she'll cheat on him, or she'll have her cake and eat it too on the side. And you have a man, hyper masculine, with a feminine woman, he destroys her. Hyper masculine man with a masculine woman, at first they bang, later he will destroy her because it's not in your makeup to be that way. That's all I'm saying, family. You can live however you want to live. But one thing for the BABC, we will not have people who don't know their role on the compound with us. That's not going to happen. Not for long anyway. So I got another call here. All right. Welcome to the call, 9339. You're live, 9339.
Hello.
MC Unity.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Thank you for having this call. It was very good, very interesting. And from a woman's perspective, well, first of all, I agree with basically everything you said.
Thank you. I was holding my breath.
I'm sure. Anyway,
Woo!
I do believe that there are gender roles, the traditional gender roles, and that people need to know what they are. And from a female's perspective, though, I know that femininity has a lot of power and a lot of strength. And part of that strength is knowing when to be quiet and knowing how to hold your tone. And basically, like you said, and I don't like the word manipulating either, but knowing how to get what you want takes strength. It takes reserve, and it takes just being patient and knowing how, finesse, right, and just knowing how to, how to deal with your man. But it doesn't have to cross over to, like, every relationship, meaning I don't think that I feel like women should be a certain type of way with their own man, and they should be more kind, more gentle, more patient, more loving, more giving, more all of that with their man, not everybody's man, or not even like their boss. And I see a lot of, but it's the same thing with men. I see a lot of the opposite, where it's like the people on the streets get treated, or your people at work or just your so-called friends or your play siblings or whatever get treated better than, your spouse or, whoever you have at home. And that's where I feel like there's a lot of disconnect and a lot of the problems start. And there's excuses like, well, they treat me better than you do, at work. Well, they're not dealing with you every day. They're not dealing with the real you at work, right?
Right.
And I mean, they're poor excuses, but it's just something that I think we really need to be conscious of and realize that the most important people to us should be the people in our homes. And unfortunately, the people in our homes get the most wrath. There's, you can be understanding to a point where, okay, it's like I'm getting beat up on the job every day. I'm taking all this crap from my boss. I don't want to come home and take it too. Or, or even if you're not necessarily giving them a hard time at home, but they just kind of want to dump on you because they've been dumped on at work and they couldn't retaliate. I see a lot of that where people are kind of taking out what the world or what external people. So, it's like both ways. The people get treated better on the outside a lot of times because they are maybe presumed to be nicer and kinder, again, because they're not dealing with the day-to-day. They don't know what's really, they don't know your stresses, the stress factors. They're not in your real world, so to speak. And then by the same token, also the opposite is true where you might be getting treated bad, at work, and you can't take it out on them, so you come home and you take it out on, on your spouse or whoever, the kids, whoever the closest people to you. There's a lot of, and again, those aren't good excuses, but that's the reality, in my experience. I've seen that a lot. And so it's hard to respect and take a lot of crap from someone who, like you feel like they're mistreating you. That's the bottom line. If you feel disrespected, mistreated by somebody that you love and you feel like you're putting your all into it, you feel like you're giving more in a relationship or you're doing whatever you can to hold it together and make it work and build him up or build her up because whatever they might be going through, but they're constantly dumping on you and they're not appreciative of it or they're not respecting you for it and they are taking things out on you, you can only take so much, I think, as a strong woman. And I think most Black women are considered, quote, strong women because we have to be. And you guys have already talked about, the reasons and the whole. And we know from the beginning of our plight here, how we were brought here, and the Willie Lynch syndrome and all of that happened that made us sort of psychologically where we are and how that's passed down through the generations. So, we know the cause of it, but and it's still very true. And unfortunately, like he said, you can enslave them for so many hundred years, but you can enslave their minds, hundreds more, thousand more. And we're in that 1,000-year period, and we're still there. But having conversations like this and just having real conversations and having people wake up to what's really going on and choose. Everything's a choice. Like I did on the show a couple of months ago. It's like you need to be aware of what's really going on and take an assessment, personal assessment, first of all, who you are, where you are, and how you're treating people, and then what you're going to accept as treatment, from someone else. And then you just treat people how you want to be treated. It's complicated, and there's a lot of things that go into how we treat each other. But at the end of the day, it's simple too. The golden rule: treat people how you want to be treated, point blank, period. And know your priorities and treat the people who are the closest to you, the people that you love, your family and whatever, better than anybody else. That's
absolutely. I appreciate you. You said it well. Stamp of approval on that. We'll stamp of approval. I'm just, sisters, let me talk to sisters for a minute because, it's a masculine tone because I'm a masculine man. I'm not effeminate. I'm not feminine. And let me just tell you something. Sisters, I want you guys to win. Because when you win, we all win. The problem is this. People are so confused about what they should be doing. Listen, sister, be a woman. Be feminine. You have children with no man. I understand that. You have to be strong for them. But sometimes you got to know when to lay that down a little bit. I'm not saying be vulnerable all day. What I'm saying is find a man you can be vulnerable with, if that makes sense to you. Because even in my own family, I watch men destroy women, and I watched women destroy men. And I just got tired of watching that. And to the point where it's like in this world with men, me being a black man in this society, sometimes we just don't want to come out and deal with this kind of stuff. We just get tired. And if you just don't want to go deal with that. You got to go out and make a paycheck. You got to go deal with some things. You can't change it unless you become a millionaire, financially independent, work with all black people who respect you and love you. Hard to find, but you have to go deal with this kind of stuff. When you come home, you don't want to hear nothing but love and admiration. And I think that most men who wasn't destroyed totally, like by the street life, men that wasn't destroyed by a very, very dysfunctional family, because most of us have dysfunction of some kind. I'm talking about higher level like D4, D5. If you wasn't to that level with it, I think that most men at the core want to come home to a peaceful environment. I'm just saying is that this is a sad truth, and I'm gonna tell you, sister, nobody gonna probably tell you this is the truth. Men are gonna win anyway. But as a black community spokesperson, leader, we're not gonna win the black community as a group. Think about what I just told you. Men are going to win in the game of dating, in the game of having somebody. I'm not saying they're going to have a relationship that works. They will have a relationship of some kind. The things are just laid out better for the man in that aspect. But as a black man in society who wants to build a black community of prosperous, sound-minded, and intelligent black people, I must tell you things are going to help you win too. Because let's say, example, a man decides he don't want a black woman no more for whatever reason he thinks. He go and get him a white woman. She might treat him like a king, treat him real good until something go wrong. Or she might go his whole life. He make a lot of money. He's encouraged. He does whatever. But that money goes back to the white community because when he passes on, like Dr. Umar said, he was right. It goes to the white community and the white would-be white kids and their family. So you get another woman from another ethnic group, their community is going to win by whatever you build in this side of the world. But for our sisters that have some type of comfort, I'm saying if you had some relationships that didn't work out, there's still hope for you. But you must know the game. You must learn your role. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you want a masculine man, you need to be a feminine woman. If you want a feminine man, be a masculine woman. They will find you. Because there's a lot of men out there, unfortunately for us, a lot of men out there are effeminate nowadays. A lot of them are looking for a mama. So if you're a masculine woman, you want a man tell you nothing, you want to be following no man, you want to lead your own life, you make your own money, that's great. You need to find a man who's looking for a mama. And I hate to say it, but that's the truth. That's what it is. Those are the ones that work. Those two dynamics, masculine and feminine, don't go together. If you got two masculine men, it's like having, two moms or two dads. Even in the gay community, family. Let me just say this for the record. In the gay community, well, you know what I normally see? I see a butch type of female with a feminine type of female. You guys ever see that, or is it just me? I see two people considered to be gay, women. One looks like a man, acts masculine, is masculine. One acts like a female, feminine, soft. I'm like, wow. Even in their community, there's a dynamic because that dynamic does not change, family. Masculine and feminine, they work together, best together. This is for sake of numbers, 65% of a masculine man needs to be masculine, 65%. The other 35% feminine, because to deal with a woman, in my opinion, I'm not a scientist or nothing like that. In my opinion, you need 35% to understand your woman. When she comes home crying from a bad day at work, sit down and nurture her, care for her, love her, help her with she having her period strong cramps this month. Wash the dishes, rub her stomach, rub her feet. She have a bad day. At the job, she's pregnant. She come home from work, go cook. If you can't cook, bring her some food. Whatever you can to make her feel good. See, a hyper masculine man will not do those things. Okay? This is what masculine men do. You cut the grass. You bring the trash out. You train the kids how to be have high self-esteem. This is what people can't do. So you have to decide. I'm saying you can do whatever you want. What I'm saying, what we're doing, the BABC, we're building society traditionally. So if you want to just if your goal is just to get a man, and you have to reevaluate yourself, am I exuding masculine energy or feminine energy? Am I attracting masculine men or feminine men? What you want, you can adapt that for whatever you're trying to get. It's all about fishing. But the truth is, when you really condition yourself to be the best you want to be, if that you ends up being masculine, be the best masculine person you can be. And I'm not saying that for my gain or for the BABC, that ain't gonna work for us, but it might work for you finding a man that you feel like you can live with and coexist with. But if you want traditional society, you want to be feminine, work on that stubbornness. Work on the extra hardcore pride you have because you've been carrying it for a long time because you've been by yourself for so long. Work on yourself. Don't jump into a relationship that's not going to be working for you. Take some time to figure out what you need. That's all I'm saying. And brothers the same way. Don't be going around trying to get every woman in town. You got some issues you need to work on. Work on yourself. You want to be that strong, masculine man? Hey, it can happen. Get some mentors. Probably people don't want to get mentors that can help you. You want to be a certain way. Find somebody who's like that and help them help you. Somebody will help you to be more manly, help you to be more feminine. You need a mentor, and you'd be surprised. You come in, you dressing different. Some women dressing with these manly-looking clothes on, and I'm not saying you got to go out there showing everything, but you go out there, you feminine, got some nice shoes on, ain't got to be heels. You walk, you got your little swag together. You'd be surprised what men will say to you. Hey, girl, how you doing? Case of like a lady, you get treated like one, for the most part. There's always knuckleheads out there. Men, vice versa. You catch up like a man, you're going to be treated like a man, for the most part. So I'm just saying tonight's show, fam, I'm glad we had a lot of good talks. It was great. And I'm just saying for the record, I'm glad we got this off the chest of a lot of people. And those who didn't see it, those who are on YouTube, you guys leave the comments there. And I know it's not going to make everybody happy. But I'm so tired of people not knowing what lane they should be in. You're going to be in the most productive lane. If you're a female, be feminine. Most productive you're going to ever be. If you're a man, be masculine. Most productive you're going to ever be. But I'm just saying, stay in your lane, but be adaptive. If you're already married and got enough issues or relationship not working the way you want, reevaluate yourself. Try to gain that person by staying in your lane. And I'm just saying, if that's not going to work for you, then you got to decide what you're going to do. I can't tell you what to do, but I know what I would do. So with that being said, family, it was a great show. You follow us on Facebook, The Bay Area Black Community. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube, The Bay Area Black Community YouTube. This recording will be on there. Like us there. Comment there if you need to. Follow us on Blog Talk. You can know when we have our next show. And also follow us on Twitter at Bay Area Black. It's protected, but I will allow you in if you are a black person and you look black and you sound black and your pictures and everything else coincides with you being a real person, not some type of undercover race soldier or some type of troll. I will allow you to follow. So with that being said, family, I'm going to go with my brother Eddie Crow's song called Separate, because I agree we should do that. We need to have our own stuff. Good night, family.
Separate when you notice it's something great. Hate to hate, but I'm shaking up all the fakes. About the powers for our kids. We gotta save it so they can easily live. Least for my people, ain't treated equal. Tired of sequels, stories bore me, lies kill glory. Black so beautiful, matter before me. Before extinction, we won't be preaching. Feet can't be marching. And that shit go in the coffin. Black fist, black thoughts, whites want us cut off. Right now, get rid of coons in the room. Don't assume we clean here, fuck the rear. Ain't no luck, that tool truck, we know war. Life on line, we gotta fight from the core. Outnumber, we pull back, but come around and flank you. Race soldiers don't fight you, gotta think like they do. Blaze trails we walk through, work together, don't disagree. One mom, black carpool, running open and